When I started TikTok Shop Affiliate 2 years ago, I started with absolutely no clue what I was doing. I saw that many people were trying it and making a living with it, so I decided to try it for myself and see what is the worst thing that could happen. And in my first week, I literally made almost every mistake you could possibly imagine, which is extremely frustrating, and honestly, I felt like I was completely hopeless on this, even though I was only a week in, which is kind of crazy. So I can only imagine what people feel like when they have, months or even years into this and they don't see much success. So I have that same feeling. I understand what you're going through. However, I was able to identify 3 major mistakes that were absolutely destroying my reach. And as soon as I stopped making them, it allowed me to make over $2 million in sales and take home over $30,000 per month on average in personal profit in just 2024 alone. So in this video, I'm going to break down what those 3 mistakes are and what you can do to avoid them and start making sales with the affiliate program on TikTok Shop. Now, mistake number 1, and this one's huge, it's not telling a story, but instead focusing on the features of the product instead. There are so many instances where I've made this mistake myself, and I still make this mistake to this day, but I realize that when I can fix it, those are the videos that go viral. A good example of this is actually a retractable hose that I posted on TikTok Shop, and this retractable hose for my garden, I didn't tell any story whatsoever. I kind of just promoted the product and the cool features of the product and saying how it retracts, it has this length of hose, and these are all really nice features, but no one can actually relate to that unless I tell the benefits of actually having that product. Instead of me saying that this hose goes 50 feet long, I could say this hose reaches the backyard of my house, and that actually tells a story that people can relate to. No one really cares about the features of the product. They really only care about how your story and your problems related to that product and how they can actually solve that problem as well with that product. So instead of focusing on the features, focus on the stories and how you solved a problem with that product. For example, my sister was selling a vacuum cleaner. Instead of her telling all these things and these features about the product, she talked about how her kid is always dropping food on the ground and the vacuum cleaner picks it up perfectly. That's amazing because so many people can relate to that same story. They have kids, they drop food on the ground and they need to pick it up as well. So they go, I actually need a vacuum cleaner, and then they purchase. That's why I absolutely love products that solve direct problems, especially visually. If you can show the product visually solving a problem right there, people are so much more likely to purchase that you actually don't need to come up with too much creativity to make that product sell. If it actually solves a problem that many people have, people are willing to purchase if you can show them that problem being solved. Mistake number 2 that I see people make is that they go into this with the idea that TikTok Shop is a one-time thing and it's not a business. When I started TikTok Shop Affiliate, I just saw it as a way to make a quick side cash and maybe a couple $100 a month. And I didn't really see much success until I took it seriously and decided to post as much as I could, be strategic, look at my metrics and analyze what I'm doing wrong so I can fix it, actually have a viable approach to this entire process. And that's when I started seeing success. It's just like any other thing you do in life. If you don't put much work into it, you're not going to get much results. And TikTok Shop Affiliate is no different than any other business in regards to any of that stuff, because this actually is a business. It's legally a business if you put it as one. So decide now, set goals for yourself, set an achievement goal by the end of the year, whatever it is. You just need to find something, have a goal, have a plan, and actually implement it. There are tons of different people out there, even myself, that will tell you things on TikTok Shop and how to do them and how to go viral and how to do this and that. At the end of the day, it is just your creativity, finding good products and showing them to the world. It all boils down to that. I mean, honestly, you're going to see so many different people that are telling you to do certain things and do this, that, or the other, or else nothing else is going to work. And that's just not true. It's just getting your foot in the door, posting as much as you can, and being real and honest with the viewers. Now, of course, there are methods and things that work better than others, but at the end of the day, it all depends on what works for you. And I try my best on this YouTube channel and my TikTok to actually showcase what works for you guys and what can actually benefit you long term. But at the end of the day, it just comes down to you looking at your content, analyzing it objectively, and figuring out what works and having a good plan. This mindset shift for me actually is what I believe truly is what made me all the money. I solely and fully took this very seriously. And when I did, that's when I started to see success. If there's one thing I could do differently if I were to go back in time, I would surround myself with people or creators that are on the same path as me so I could actually learn and keep up to date and actually stay accountable with this stuff. And I can't stress enough how much faster you will progress if you actually surround yourself with people that are like-minded and on the same path as you. So if you're looking to take TikTok Shop Affiliate seriously, I'm running a community with over 800 members looking to help each other and keep each other accountable, and I'll leave the link in the description if you'd like to join. Now, mistake number 3. This is probably the biggest mistake that I see affiliates make, and it is the biggest one that I think I've seen in myself when it comes to directly looking at the content, and that is trying too hard to sell the product. Now imagine that you go into a car dealership and you walk up to the salesman and they are begging you to buy a car. They're like straight up begging for it. That you're probably more likely to not actually purchase that car because they're like very obviously trying to sell you. You almost do it out of spite. I might actually want the car, but out of spite of them trying to sell it to me so hard, I'll actually want to leave. And if I go down the road and I go to a car dealership where the person's extremely nice, they relate to me, they talk about things that I relate to and like the lifestyles or whatever it is, I'd feel more inclined to actually purchase that vehicle from that person. The same thing goes with TikTok Shop Affiliate. If you can make people feel like you are one of them and you relate to that product in some way and you're not directly trying to sell them, you just talk to them like a normal person, they're probably likely to purchase it. One of my favorite ways of thinking about this is actually talking to the person like you are on a FaceTime call with one of your friends. If you were to talk to your friend on a FaceTime call and show them this product, how would you speak to them? What does the tonality sound like when you talk to them? If it sounds different than the way that you are promoting your product, then you're probably promoting it wrong. Good ways to fix this is actually just to talk about the product and why you like it yourself and just talk. Just be completely normal. That is the best way. The moment that you feel like you're talking in a different manner than you would to your spouse or your friends, that's when things go bad. If you look at some of my old videos on my TikTok Shop page and you scroll all the way down to the beginning, you'll hear my voice is completely different. I sound timid, I sound like nervous, and but I learned to overcome that over time by looking back at my content. But those are the reasons why some of my videos didn't go viral. You're quite literally miles ahead of everybody else on the same path as you if you actually solve these 3 mistakes. However, if you want to take things seriously and you want a practical guide on what to do, watch this video next where I break down step by step everything that you need to do to get serious success on TikTok Shop.